All right, in this next video, we're going to talk about creating a cove or continue with a cloud idea anytime that you have some sort of vertical wall and a ceiling that extends past it. Maybe there's some trim on the end. We do have in the library, there's some trims called axiom trims that are very common that you can place that these are straight pieces. I think there's profiles involved. If you need to put them on a curved ceiling, you can. But I'm going to talk about using a trim wall to define the extent of our floating ceiling, and then our soffit wall type that we made in the previous video. So let's jump in. So if you search wood ceiling, this is just an example, but you'll see there's a few different types on Unify. They start with CTBD for ceiling to be determined. These are starting places for you to put in, say, a wood paneled ceiling and modify it for your needs. There's also this wood trim pops up under ceilings because it's ceiling trim. So let's start with that. So let's click that to define, and I believe it's already in here, so we'll use the existing type. So you could do a simple rectangle. You always want to know where your location line is, and that's going to be what's important to you from the dimensioning standpoint. So like if you wanted to put a cove around this area, you could do that. And depending on how your panel system went, this may want to face the other direction. That's quite possible. So let's do that right now, and we will then create our cloud, or we could create the vertical portion of the chipboard wall. So this is going to define the perimeter of our wood ceiling, but we also want the cove. So let's say it's a 2-foot cove. You can use the offset tool, and I set that 2 foot, and you can put your cursor there and hit tab, and that will jump all those things back and make a copy of them. And right now the heights will adjust those. I'm going to switch these to our A wall type. If you remember in the previous video, we made a soffit wall type, and we want to see if that is facing the right direction, and it is. So you can see right now these walls are all whacked out, so let's fix that. So we want to take, and let's say our cloud is at 9 feet, so I'm going to tab select those. I'll set that to 9 foot, and then this trim is, say, 6 inches tall, so 5.5 inches tall, and then our support wall is going to be again at 9 foot, and it may go up as we define this, and that goes up to level 2, and then minus 5.5 or whatever your floor height thickness above. So now you can see that you have the, I did it above. Let's select previous. That should be a minus. And if you remember from the previous video, we made this soffit wall type have the ability to extend the drywall down. So if you drywall only needs to go 6 inches above your ceiling, you can do that. And so we'll set that there, and you record that value, top extension distance, copy that, and then you can select all the instances of this in your view and set it to be the same. Now, there's only 2 in this view, so I would probably go to the plan view and grab them all there so you actually did get them all. So let's do that. Now they all have the same settings. All right, now we can make our wood ceiling. So let's go check Unify, and we like this solid rule-on ceiling, or it doesn't matter what we pick. For this example, it doesn't, and I've already loaded it, so okay. And so now I'm going to use pick walls. Remember, I like to use pick walls for ceilings because then they will move with the walls. So I can hit tab there and finish, and we'll set that at 9 feet. Okay, so now we have our wood ceiling. And remember, in the previous video, the reason I like to do the by pick is if we need to adjust this, we can just by moving the walls. We don't have to edit the sketch anymore, which is really helpful. And even you can make some pretty significant changes to this as long as it doesn't require any additions of line segments. You can do quite interesting changes with that. So that's about it. Let's take a look. The next step would be to edit your boundary of your ACT ceiling. Use pick walls again, and this time we don't want to go into the core for either of these because they're finishes. So we'll do that. And there, now you can see those walls. And here's what I mean about, we can try join geometry right here and see if it does what we want it to do. JG is my hotkey, and it does. So we'll just join those together, and you don't have to do any changes. And now you would come back in here. If this lid, let's say you were putting a light there, you might need a chipboard lid here. So I'd make another ceiling type that's just 5/8 chipboard. And you would create it using pick walls from here to here in your plan. And then you would have what the example shows you here, where you've got the chipboard there. So I hope that's helpful. And again, what's cool about this is you can totally start to work on your dimensioning. And as you decide things, if that needs to clean up to be 3'4", you can, and then you want this to be a 1'8". You know, it all work nicely together. So anyway, hope that helps.